The movie begins thousands of years ago, when some thieves buried a priceless treasure in London. Years later, some people find an ancient map and set out to look for it. The question is, will they actually get it, or will their greed get them killed? Today, I'm going to tell you about this treasure hunt web series, and it all starts back in 1870. This was when the English Empire was basically running the whole world, whether on land or at sea. We're in the middle of the ocean on a pirate ship, and inside is a ton of gold. A dude named Silver is counting it when another guy, Billy, comes up and tells him the captain wants to see him on the deck. Silver finishes his work and heads up. He hands the captain a diary with all the details about the treasure, and he tells him they'll get to the island by morning. But then he asks why they're going there. The captain says, "We're not, I am." After he says that, he pulls a gun on Silver and his men and tells them he's not giving them anything. He says he'll spare their lives since they helped him, but they need to take the little boat and get out of there as fast as they can. Silver argues that he and his men risk their lives for this, and they should at least get their share. But the captain isn't having it. He just shoots Silver in the leg, which forces all of them to jump into the water with the boat. The thing is, they have no idea where they're going now. In the next scene, we're in some random village with a mom and her son. They're super sad because the dad, Zach's dad, just died. Zach doesn't have anything to do now. Dr. Livesey, who was a close friend of his dad's, tells him he needs to step into his dad's shoes and take his place. He says Zach's mom needs money to take care of herself and him, but he also tells him to remember him if he ever needs help. Zach's dad used to run a hotel, so now Zach is taking over the business. One dark night, someone knocks on the door. The mom and son get scared, wondering who it could be this late. Zach gets up the courage and opens the door, and there's Billy, the same guy we saw at the beginning of the story. He's the one who betrayed Silver and his men with the captain. He asks Zach for a room and tells him that if anyone comes asking for him, he needs to lie and say no one with that name lives there. In return, he offers him a good amount of money, which Zach takes because he really needs the cash. Every day after that, Billy is just drunk and seems really scared, like he's hiding something big. After 3 or 4 days, a guy shows up asking about Billy. He knows Billy is staying there. He starts threatening Zach's mom to get her to talk. This guy is actually one of Silver's buddies. He finds Billy and confronts him. But the guy, Black, doesn't fight him because he's there to ask for something. He says the captain is dead, but before he died, he buried the treasure on an island. No one knows where the island is except for him, so he made a map to get back there, and that's what Black is looking for. But Billy says if he had the map, he would have already gone and stolen the treasure himself. He says he has no idea where it is, but Black won't accept that. He shoves a knife into his hand and takes off. He goes back and tells Silver everything. So Silver sends a blind man to Billy with a message. Zach sees the blind man go into the hotel, and the blind man finds Billy, who's still drinking. He puts a piece of paper in his hand and leaves. When Billy opens it, it says, "Tonight." When he reads that, he collapses and dies right there. He knew the captain's crew was coming to kill him because he had what they were looking for. Now Zach and his mom are in a huge mess. They go to the doctor for help, but he's scared too. When he hears that all the pirates are coming, he gets even more freaked out. He gives Zach a gun and tells them to get as far away as possible. But they need money to leave, and they don't have any. So they go back home and open Billy's box to look for cash. They find money, but they also find something else that could change their lives forever. Inside the box, along with the diary, is that priceless map that holds the key to a massive treasure. Just then, the pirates bust into their house, but before it's too late, they both escape out the back door. But when Silver and his men see the open box, they realize that what they were looking for is now with Zach. Zach and his mom are still on the run when one of Silver's guys finds them. They have no choice but to give up the map, but then the doctor shows up on his horse, runs over the guy, and takes them to his house. They're safe for now because Silver's men think they might have been eaten by a wild animal. At the doctor's house, Zach tells him all about the map he found in Billy's box. He says it's a map to Captain Flint's lifelong treasure hidden on an island. The doctor is shocked and asks how that's possible. Zach shows him the diary with all the details, and the doctor believes him. The doctor says that if he calculates it, the treasure is worth about $1 million. He also says if Zach wanted to spend it all himself, it would take him 300 years. This treasure is so valuable that they have to find it. He asks Zach if he's ready to change his destiny, but they'll need some money. So the next day, they go to the town's general to get a loan. When the general asks why they need so much money, The doctor makes a huge mistake. He tells him everything, and he even gives the general the diary with all the details about the treasure. When the general reads it, he gets greedy. I mean, who wouldn't? We're talking about 300 kilos of gold here. After thinking about it for a while, the general says, "Okay, you guys can go wherever you want and find it, but I'm coming with you." He says he'll pay for everything out of his own pocket, not the government's money. He'll even provide a ship and a captain who will be his guy. Zach and the doctor are super happy to hear this. But they're naive about this cruel world where people's souls are bought and sold for money and words mean nothing. They think the general is helping them, but he's actually taken over the whole mission. It's possible that when they find the treasure, he'll have them both thrown in jail on some fake charges. Or maybe the person with the most right to the treasure will get it. We'll have to see what happens. For now, Zach says goodbye to his mom and leaves, promising to come back with something great. When he gets to the port, he's amazed by the world around him. He can't believe how much is going on in this city. He bumps into a guy with a limp who turns out to be Silver. Silver asks him if he's in a hurry, and Zach says his ship is waiting, but he's lost. Silver helps him find his ship. That's where Silver meets the general and tells him that he and his friends are great chefs. He heard they're going on a long trip and might need their help. The general hires them, but when the captain hears they're going to the Caribbean Sea looking for treasure, he immediately says no. He says there are a lot of people already there, including some pirates. He explains that many people have figured out that Captain Flint's treasure is somewhere in that area, but the general tells him not to worry because he has a lot of people now. Zach, who is standing outside, overhears their whole conversation. The general then doubles the captain's pay, and out of greed, he agrees to lead the mission. So a crazy adventure is about to begin. They slowly start moving forward. At first, they have a lot of trouble working together, but after a few days, they get along and become friends. Meanwhile, the general starts making a second copy of the map because he's afraid something might happen to the original. Silver is also just waiting for the right moment. As soon as he sees a chance, he'll take over the whole ship. But first, he has to win everyone's trust. On the other side, we see Silver's wife. She's completely changed her appearance and she looks like a beggar. She goes to Zach's mom and asks for a place to stay. Seeing her in that state, she agrees. But she has no idea this is all a trick Silver is playing. After a week, they're all eating, and the doctor tells the general they need to talk about their share of the treasure. He says the sooner they talk about it, the better. But the general starts to show his true colors. He asks what treasure he's talking about. He says they have no share and they're just there to do a job for which they'll get paid. This shocks Zach because he's the one who started all this. He made a promise to his mom and he's not going to let this betrayal slide. But he doesn't say or do anything because it's not the right time. Plus, the general has all the power. A big storm starts up in the middle of the ocean. Zach gets seasick and starts throwing up. Silver comes to help him and takes him to his room. In his room, he talks to him in hints and says he heard their conversation. He says it's a shame that the general isn't giving them their share. So he tells him to listen to him and give him the map. He says they'll find the treasure together, and then Zach will get his share. But Zach refuses and leaves. He says he doesn't know anything about a map, but Silver knows that he's the one whose house they attacked, so he has to be patient with him. The next day, Silver and some of his men start trying to get the general's men on their side. He tells them they'll get their share and become super rich. He's trying to win them over, but then a guy who was looking at the ocean from the top of the ship suddenly falls and dies right there. His best friend Arrow tells everyone that he told the general the ship's ropes were weak and needed to be changed, but he didn't listen to save money, and now his friend is dead because of him. Arrow yells a lot of stuff at him, but then the captain comes and calms things down. Just then, a huge fog appears all around them. They see a ship that looks like a haunted ship. People start saying it must be Captain Flint's ghost, here to protect his treasure. But Silver tells everyone there's no such thing as ghosts, and people don't come back after they die. Everyone goes back to work, but Zach is angry at himself. He thinks if he had gone on this mission alone, he would have gotten everything. He talks to Silver about it, and Silver tells him he still has a chance and should think about what he told him last night. He also goes and talks to the doctor about it. Then he goes to the general's room to steal the map. He finds it and gives it to Silver, but it turns out it was a copy. The original map is still with the general, so now he has to find the real one. The next morning, Arrow gets super drunk and in a fit of rage attacks the general with a stick multiple times because he still blames him for his friend's death. The general has him hung upside down from the ship and then throws him into the water as punishment. He also tells everyone else that if anyone tries to touch him, the same thing will happen to them. Zach sees all this and gets even more angry at the general. Not only did he steal his share, but now he's killing people for no reason. It was his fault for not changing the rope in the first place. That night, Zach is sleeping in the kitchen. He hears voices. When he looks up, he sees Silver and some of his men. Silver is telling them he just needs that map somehow. After that, he'll kill everyone on the ship, and they'll split the treasure. When Zach hears this, he quietly goes to the general's room, but he can't find the real map anywhere. He doesn't have much time and needs to be fast. Suddenly, a piece of paper falls out of a Bible. It's the map. He grabs it and gets out of there without anyone seeing him. The journey continues for a whole 3 months, and they're finally getting close to the island. But first, the captain tells Silver and some of his men to go to the island to talk to the local tribes and explain that they're just there to do their job, not to hurt them. Zach goes with them. When they get there, they park their small boat on the shore. On the big ship, we see the general looking for his map, but he can't find it anywhere, and he goes crazy. The doctor shows up and the general starts accusing him of stealing the map. But before he can do anything, Silver's men surround him in his room. The scene shifts to Zach's mom. Some people from the city show up and tell her that before her husband died, he took out a lot of loans from the general that he couldn't pay back. So now they're taking over the house. This isn't true. It's all a general's trick. Zach's mom has to leave the house. Back on the island, Zach, with the map in his hand, sees Silver talking to someone, and boom, that's where part 1 ends. Who was that person Silver was talking to? What happened to the general on the ship? Did Zach get the treasure? We'll find all this out in part 2, which will be uploaded soon. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.